This new Dragonite Giratina deck could potentially take the meta by storm. I found this deck because this player, Rockentin, went 8 wins 1 loss with it in a tournament and ended up placing 3rd in it. This deck is definitely interesting looking, so I did what any normal person does and immediately jumped into ranked without testing the deck at all and tried to see how the deck actually feels to play. Full disclosure, during testing I went 5 wins 4 losses. I want you to remember that all games played were versus other Master Rank players and the sample size is quite small, so this deck is definitely not a meme deck and can do some serious work even at Master Rank. It's also possible the deck just needs a little refining to make even better, but I would say it's definitely worth trying this deck out. It was a lot of fun sniping off multiple Pokemon when getting the Dragonite online. If you don't know me, I'm Sinner. I play a lot of Pokemon TCG Pocket, compete in tournaments, and I made it to Master with a 60% win rate, which I think is pretty solid. I put a lot of time into this video, so if you find it helpful, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. It really helps out. When trying the deck out, this is the kind of setup I recommend you going for. The 2 Druddigons allow you to play around Sabrina while you safely build up your Dragonite and Giratina. The best advice I can give you for this deck is always try to keep Irida in mind. The 40 healing that you can potentially put down onto the Giratina or Dragonite can be game winning. It might even be worth putting a 2nd Irida into the deck instead of the communication. In this video, I over-explain my every thought process while playing my Master Rank games, so make sure to stick around and hopefully learn to play this deck. So we are going 2nd against another fighting deck. Hopefully it's another Hitmonlee and he can't start hitting for a while. So he does have Hitmonlee. So I'm going to safely build Giratina up in the front spot and I'm not going to play any basic Pokemon down right now. Let's see what he's going with. So he's going Gallade. They also run Marshadow and 2 Hitmonlees. So he is Ionoing right now. He's looking for Curlier. Curlier is his priority. Yeah, so we got a lot of basics. Well, we got 2 basics, but we didn't find the Dratini. Let's see. Not really too much to think about here. We just place the energy and ramp up our Giratina. He only has 2 cards, so now 3. He's looking for Curlier. He does hit the Professor's Research, which is really good for him. Every turn that delays his Curlier is insane for us. My 4 energy Dragonite, which means Gallade would do 150 damage to him, can survive 1 hit from the Gallade. That's a potential thing to think about later on. We do have the Dratini. Thing is, it's going to be at least 2 turns before I'm attacking with Giratina. I also don't want him doing 30 damage to the Dratini. But each turn that passes without putting energy on it is 1 turn too slow. Let's see. So if the Dragonite's on 130, his Marshadow can't one-shot it. If it's on 100, it can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait 1 turn before playing the Dratini down. I think that's correct. Now the question is, what do I do with this 1 electric energy? This is such a tricky turn. We're just going to play it like this. Because next turn, he can only do 30 to Dratini. Then I'm finishing off his Hitmonlee. And I feel like the 130 health on the Dragonite compared to 100 health is really important. So that's why I'm delaying 1 turn. Although we do run Irida also. I forgot about that. We do run Irida, so maybe I could have just healed up the damage. Maybe a 2nd Irida would be good in this deck. So he does retreat his Hitmonlee. Still no Curlier for him, which is really good. I'm definitely playing 1 Dratini. I think the play is to play both Dratinis and then start building the one... Oh, but I have to place an energy right now. That's fine, that's fine. We do have Irida to heal. So I need to end my turn with Giratina. We can start attacking next turn. He's never doing the 30 from Hitmonlee next turn anyway. He doesn't have the energy for it. Each turn that goes by without him getting Curlier is huge for us. He's got 5 cards left in his deck. But he just top-decked the Pokeball. So he still has no Curlier. So we can attack with Giratina now. Now we're building towards Dragonair. We have really good odds in this game. Even Red with the Marshadow doesn't finish us off. So yeah, this is really good. So he pretty much has to come in with the Marshadow, do 100, which puts us to 30. He needs Curlier right now, and even then I don't think that's enough. So he goes Hitmonlee. He does find the Curlier. It was 2 in 5 odds for him, so very likely that he would find it. Now he's flooding his board with Pokemon so that the Dragonite has potential to miss the key targets that it needs to hit. So let's see. We always hit because he's always one-shotting us with Gallade next turn anyway. We don't need to worry about that. Let's see. We're going to evolve. So I think we Irida right now. Because he could Cyrus in the Dragonite and kill it. And then we're never one-shotting the Gallade. So we need to Irida right now. Now he can't Cyrus in the Dragonite. So that Irida was so important there. You don't understand how important that was. If the Dragonite was on 130, he Cyruses it in and does exactly 130 with the Gallade. And then the Giratina never one-shots it. I don't run Sabrina or Cyrus. And I was never, and then he would just one-shot the Giratina the turn after. So the healing actually wins us the game. So we just need to kill one of these basics off with the Dragonite. We just need 100 onto one of them. And even then, he doesn't one-shot. He doesn't one-shot the Dragonite. He only does 150 damage to it. Obviously, there is a potential that he's running Sabrina, so... Right, no point playing any of these cards. I'm just going to go for it. Come on, do 100. And we do finish off the Hitmonlee. Let's go. That's insane. I'd say that's a counter matchup and we still win. GG. So we're going second against another fighting deck. Let's see if it's Hitmonlee again. It is Hitmonlee again. We have won the last 2 times against fighting deck, so maybe third time's the charm. I mean, that doesn't really make sense. If we'd lost the last 2, we could say third time's the charm, but we've won, so let's keep the streak going, I guess. Currently, we only have the Giratina, but we have a lot of ways to draw the Dratini right now. Double Pokeball. Let's see. He's going to start pushing 30. Let's see. I'm going to look for the Dratini right now. I was thinking if I could wait a turn to increase the odds even further, but I feel like it's good to just go for the Dratini right now. We had really good odds anyway. We would have to be really unlucky to miss on that. So we have the full Dragonite line. Let's see. Am I worried about Sabrina? Not really, but I guess I'll just play it just in case he has Mars or something. Sometimes they do like to run Mars in Hitmonlee decks because obviously a lot of good players like to hold basic Pokemon in their hand to play around Hitmonlee, and then Mars sends them straight back into the deck. So there's an argument to be made that he is running a Mars. And we have all the cards we need here, so we need to disincentivize his Mars as much as possible. He does opt to do the 30 to the Dratini. We're going to keep healing up. We have the Leaf to start attacking as soon as possible. Honestly, there's an argument to be made that I could have pushed... Oh no, it's a 3 energy attack. Next turn we can one-shot this Hitmonlee. That's actually genuinely the play. Unless he has Marshadow right now, then he'd be able to one-shot the Dragonair. He needs Marshadow right now to prevent me from wanting to attack. He does have Marshadow. He does have Farfetch. If he... Oh, damn it. So let's see. I can't attack next turn with Dragonair because he does finish it off. I need to evolve because he could Cyrus in the Dragonair and finish it off with 40 damage from Farfetch. So I need to Dragonite. Obviously they're running 2 Cyrus in that deck. So we'll place the energy so we can start attacking next turn, and we'll finish building our Giratina. I do think we are in a really good position here. Obviously the Dragonite has good chances of killing off at least 1 Pokemon. And then Giratina can definitely sweep 2 Pokemon by himself, as long as there's no Gallade. The only way Giratina would be at risk is if he had a Pokemon with Rocky Helmet, because then he would fall to 110, and Marshadow plus Red would finish him off. So that's the only thing I'm really scared of, outside of seeing Ralts right now. And he doesn't have Ralts right now, so I think we're in a really good position to win this game. We're just going to leaf into Dragonite and start attacking. And he's forced to bring his Marshadow in if it survives to finish off the Dragonite. And then he has no way of finishing off the Giratina. Let's see what happens. Okay, sadly he put an extra 50 damage into the Hitmonlee, which wasn't necessary, but he did his job. He took the 1 prize. That's all we really needed. Now Giratina is definitely going to come in and sweep. I don't really see what he could possibly have. Maybe a second Marshadow? I feel like he needs a second Marshadow right now. He's running a strange deck, so I imagine he is running 2 Marshadow. It seems like he's not running Gallade even. Okay, he's running Rampardos. But that's looking too slow. That's definitely too slow. And we can close this game out with Giratina. Let's go. I'm farming these fighting decks. These fighting decks don't stand a chance. The fact that he's not conceding means he thinks he has some way of winning this game. So I wonder what that would be. Maybe Sabrina and hope that I don't have Leaf to... I guess the play was to put Dratini down instead of Giratina, which I would have definitely done if I didn't have Leaf. So that way we just have to put the 1 energy to retreat. So he does have the Sabrina. But thankfully I do have the Leaf. Obviously I would have put the Dratini down if I didn't have the Leaf. He would need something like Red Card right now. But obviously he can't Mars. And he doesn't have it, so he's... The second he sees the Leaf, he's going to concede. Boom. We get to close this out. Beating 3 fighting decks in a row is insane. Maybe this deck has potential. Going second into a water deck, most likely a Gyarados deck, but could be Articuno 18 or Palkia. We are forced to start the Giratina, which is not ideal at all. We would much prefer the Druddigon or the Dratini. The hand's looking really bad as well. We need a Professor's Research. And we hit it. That's amazing. Apparently if you just ask for cards, you get them. I'll have to keep that in mind. But we don't have the Dratini right now. So I could Pokemon Communication for that. I do have Leaf for next turn. I could Leaf into Druddigon. This is actually a key turn where this decision really matters. So the options are Pokemon Communication, the Druddigon to look for a Dratini. Pokemon Communication, the Dragonite, looking for a Dratini. or don't Pokemon Communication. Save the Druddigon so we can leaf into the Druddigon next turn. I think I'm going to take the middle ground and I'm going to Pokemon Communication the Dragonite. It might seem strange, but it allows us to leaf into Druddigon next turn if we want. We'd hit the Dragonair, so this is like the worst case scenario. Maybe he runs Iono or something and he like shuffles my hand away. That's the best kind of scenario I'm looking for at this point. Maybe he doesn't have his Magikarp, maybe he has a really bad hand. Copium. So the fact that he Pokemon Communication first indicates he doesn't have Professor's Research, he doesn't have Pokeball. He must have had Gyarados, which he shuffled back into the deck looking for Magikarp. So what does his hand consist of then? I imagine if he had Misty, he would have played Misty on the Palkia. So he's probably got Irida, Red, Sabrina, stuff like that. Maybe Rocky Helmet, and just holding on to it. So we do hit the Dratini. I'm going to place the Druddigon now so that we're playing around Sabrina at all times. So now the question is, do I want to retreat into Druddigon? And I think the answer is no. The reason I'm sticking with Giratina in the front spot is because he can never one-shot the Giratina with Palkia. We then hit the Revenge one-shot. And the health doesn't really matter on the Giratina because it's always going to be getting one-shot by the Gyarados anyway. He does find the Magikarp finally. And he did have the Misty, so it seems like he was just saving the Misty for the Magikarp, which is fine. I probably would have used the Misty on the Palkia because I would have felt pressured to start attacking with the Palkia as soon as possible. And it would have gave him an alternate win condition, but ultimately he didn't decide to do that. I'm going to hold this Dratini in hand. It's an extra card that can potentially be shuffled with Iono at a later point to find the Dragonite that we need. So he's attacking next turn with Palkia if he wants. But I'm not too worried about that because, as I said, the Giratina gets one-shot by the Gyarados anyway. Because if the Giratina ever attacks, he's losing 20 health and he'll fall to 130. Plus, they always run at least one copy of Red on the Gyarados deck, so... As I said, I'm not too worried about the damage onto the Giratina. So he does have his full setup now. This is going to be a hard game to win. But we'll see what happens. He's not attacking with the Gyarados for at least 2 more turns. He might have made a misplay here. He does hit the heads, but... So we're going to fall... Oh, that's actually really annoying that he hits heads there because... Now he has the Rocky Helmet, and if we attack, the Giratina is dying. They do have the Dragonite though. That means we can start building the second Dragonite. And Dragonite does tank one hit from Gyarados at all times. Red never gets him there. Although it's going to take a while to build up the 4 energy on the second Dragonite, if we ever get there. I'm just trying to think if it's ever worth to retreat into Druddigon here, because they don't run Cyrus, they only run Sabrina. And if he Sabrina, we could potentially give him the Dratini. If I attack, he's going to go to a 3rd energy on Gyarados. Then we'll get our Dragonite attack. Then he'll get 1 attack. Or he could Sabrina in and kill one of these guys. Ah, this is tricky. I guess it comes down to if I think he has Sabrina or not. I mean, the Dragonite could theoretically one-shot the Gyarados, but it would require a lot of luck. The time ran out, so I'm just going to attack and do the sacrifice. Usually they only run one Sabrina, so it's not guaranteed that he has it. He does get 2 turns to draw it, so that'll leave him with 7 cards left in his deck. But I think that is the best player. That's why it's also important to place your Dragonite on your key card that you want pulling in on the left hand spot. If you run out of time, it automatically pulls in the left hand card. You don't get to choose if time runs out. So he does have the Sabrina and he opts to use it now. Yeah, that wins him the game, I think. Actually, no, that might lose him the game. That genuinely loses him the game. It doesn't matter which one I put in. I have the Leaf. I get to do the attack. Most likely going to kill the Manaphy and then do 150 to Gyarados. And he can never one-shot. He would need a second Sabrina, which, come on, how unlikely is that? They never run second Sabrina in that deck. They like to run Misty, Irida. Hopefully the weird annoying thing doesn't happen where it does like 200 damage to Manaphy. That would be kind of annoying. Right, let's see what happens. So we did 100 to the Gyarados, that's really good. For starters, he needs to play another basic Pokemon. Actually, no, it's actually checkmate. There's nothing he can do here. There's nothing he can do, unless he has a second Sabrina, in which case I would give him Giratina and try and hit the second Leaf that I run. I do run 2 Leaf. And he can't play another basic to try and tank hits because I'm on 2 prizes, so we actually win this game. The Dragonite actually carried it from a lost position. If he had Rocky Helmet, it would be a tie, but... And he concedes. GG, wow, what a game. This deck definitely has potential. Okay, so we're going second against a water deck. We do have the Druddigon start, so we can safely build up our Giratina on the back. We're just looking for Dratini now. Most likely we're versing a Gyarados deck. I'm just trying to think if the second Giratina goes on the board, or maybe we just Iono right now looking for Dratini as soon as possible. I think the play is to use Iono here and just maximize our chances of finding Dratini, Professor's Research, Pokeball, stuff like that. So we do hit the Pokeball. Now we're looking for Dratini. 50%. Do hit the Dratini. Now we can start building that up. So we're building both carries up on the backline now. We just need Dragonair, and then we have the setup going. So in this matchup versus Gyarados, we just need Dragonite to do 50 damage to the Gyarados, which would set it to 130, which would allow Giratina to then one-shot it. So that's the out we're playing towards. I could potentially use Pokemon Communication on the Dragonite to try and hit Dragonair. But I'm going to save that for next turn because I do think we have a couple more turns to start building up. So we'll wait 1 turn, try and draw another Pokemon to increase the odds of hitting the Dragonair. He also has a really good setup going though. He has his Manaphy, Palkia, Magikarp setup. It's really important that we get the Dragonair online. I think I do need to use the Pokemon Communication right now because he's going to start attacking next turn. He's probably going to retreat into Palkia and go for the one-shot. If he brings in the Gyarados for the one-shot, we can then push 40 with Dratini, which would then set the Gyarados down to 120. So he would need Irida to then heal up to 160 to get out of range of the Giratina one-shot. But obviously they run 2 Irida, so it's very likely that he has one by now. We really need to hit the Dragonite next turn if we want to have any chance here. He does Sabrina, so we're going to have to give him the Dratini. Yeah, we have to give the Dratini. I genuinely think he's just going to retreat into Gyarados and go for the guaranteed one-shot. He doesn't even need to risk it. Yeah. There's not much we can do from this point. Just trying to calculate if there's anything we have. So if he hits into Druddigon, he's going to go to 160. I can never do 160 ever, so... I do have a Rocky Helmet. I just checked the deck list and I don't run any red, so... Even if I put him to 140, I'm never doing 140. So we're just going to concede to save time here. It's important that you concede when you know it's over so you can go into the next game. That's how you get the... climb the ranks the quickest. So we're going first against a fighting deck. We are forced to start Giratina, so not ideal. Okay, so he does have Hitmonlee, which means we can safely build our Giratina in the front spot. And we'll just never play any benched Pokemon. I'm just trying to think if I want a Pokeball right now. I think the answer is no. Do I care about the Rocky Helmet? Yeah, I'm going to place it just in case. He has X speed into Sudowoodo. Maybe he's running that. So we are going to keep building Giratina in the front spot without playing any basics. Hopefully that pays off. On the turn when we're going to one-shot Hitmonlee, then I'll play Dratini down. So it's Rampardos and Lucario, I imagine, is what they're running. Wow, he's running Mankey. That's interesting. This is a Master game as well, by the way, so he's managed to get to Master playing Primeape in his deck. Let's see what this is all about. I could try that out. So I am going to Pokeball now. Or am I? It's actually beneficial for us to draw as many Pokemon as possible before using this Pokeball to increase our odds that Pokemon Communication finds the Dragonite. I'm just trying to think if... So he needs to do an attack with Mankey before he gets the bonus Primeape damage. So he's going to want to retreat and do an attack. Then I'll place the Dratini next turn. Yeah, he's going to retreat right now. Yep. And I can potentially use Pokeball next turn to find Druddigon and leaf out into Druddigon. I mean, he is probably using Cyrus. But that falls to 20. There's no way we can kill that. So Primeape does have 90 health. So he's currently on 50 health on his Primeape when he evolves. It will do 100 damage to Druddigon one-shotting it. But maybe that's the correct play. If he has red, he can one-shot the Giratina right now. I'm going to use the Pokeball first. I think the player has to be to retreat into Druddigon. That way if he Cyruses, he's never... I'm going to leave. Preserve the energy. And I'm going to play Dratini and Druddigon to play around Sabrina whilst also still building towards... Actually, maybe I do save this Druddigon because Pokemon Communication means it's going to turn into... Dragonite, and Dragonite could be the key card that we need. We do get kind of screwed by Sabrina right here, but the game's going terribly for us anyway, so we need to play to our outs. So he does swap back into the Hitmonlee. He's going to do the damage to Giratina, I imagine. Yeah, there's not really much we can do against this deck. Our deck revolves around safely building behind Druddigon, and he has the Hitmonlee which snipes us down, so this is a counter matchup. So I can play the Druddigon down now since we have an extra basic. This is tricky. I think the play is to build towards Dragonite. I think that's the only way we win at this point. Dragonite. Maybe he... Currently we have no way of getting the Druddigon out of the center. So hopefully he does something like Cyrus is in Giratina because he can now one-shot it. Actually, this requires 2 energy. So maybe he'll do 30 to Giratina. He might not be sure if we're running healing. Then he Cyruses it in. And after one-shotting it, we could send in Dragonite and pick off his Pokemon. That's the only out we have right now. So he's going to start doing damage to the Dragonair. That's definitely correct. So if we can hit Leaf here, our second Leaf, we can start attacking next turn. Just keep ramping. We have to play to our outs. So we have a chance of getting Leaf top deck, and then we can Pokemon Communication into the Dragonite, attacking next turn. I think that's our best chance of victory. Maybe our Dragonite turns into the God Sniper and starts hitting fossils and ignoring the Rampardos. I don't know. It requires a miracle. But it looks like he's setting up for his Cyrus. He probably has Cyrus in his hand as this one card. But we have to go for our Dragonite play. The Dragonite's going to be on 130, so he does one-shot it. Ah, this is tricky. We need a Dragonite Miracle then. We need a Dragonite Miracle. We need to one-shot this Rampardos. Wait, so if we do 50, 50 and 100... If we ignore the Rampardos and do exactly 50, 50 and 100 to Hitmonlee, we do actually win this game, so let's see what happens. Come on, Dragonite. Please. Not good enough, and we lose. Actually, we don't lose yet. He needs to have Cyrus because Dragonite's only a 1 prizer. So yeah, he needs Cyrus right now. Dragonite did his part. Now the Pokemon gods need to do their part and avoid Cyrus. And he doesn't have Cyrus. We actually win this game. GG. Dragonite carried. So we're going second against a Dark deck. I am going to place the Giratina in the front spot because Giratina is weak to Dark. So if it was Weavile or Sneasel, he'd be chipping away a lot of damage onto the Giratina from turn 1. So it's really important that we safely build our Giratina on the back line. We are looking for Druddigon so that we can retreat our Dratini out ASAP. But it looks like we're just versing the standard Darkrai Giratina. Could also be running Arceus. He could be running Druddigons. Hard to tell at this point. So we have the Druddigon. I'm going to place it down now just to play around Sabrina. I could even retreat right now. Yep, that's the player. That's definitely the player to retreat right now because we don't want him getting 20 damage onto the Dratini and then Cyrusing it in at some point. We have the full Dragonite line. I'm not too worried about placing this Dratini down. We're just going to leave this spot open for a Druddigon. So we need 1 electric, 1 water energy. I was thinking if it was worth playing the Giratina to play around Sabrina by giving him this little Giratina instead of the Dragonite to do damage onto. But I think that opens me up to a can of worms down the line where he could just kill all my one prize Pokemon. Like, he could kill the Druddigon, he could kill the Dragonite, and then he could Sabrina in the Giratina at the end to avoid killing the Giratina, which is something we want to avoid. So next turn he's going to be trying to kill the Druddigon. So I probably am going to place the Rocky Helmet on it. But if he has Sabrina, we are kind of screwed. Then the question needs to be asked, do I put Rocky Helmet on Giratina? Do I put it on Dragonite? Like, if he Sabrinas, what am I putting in? Probably the Dragonite. And the Druddigon's going to do 20 damage already, so he would need Cape to get out of that range. If he had Sabrina, I think he would have played it already. I genuinely think he would have played it already if he had Sabrina, so I am going to place the Rocky Helmet on the front Druddigon. That way we're doing 40 damage. So that way, even if he has Cape, he's still in one-shot range for the Giratina. I think it's really unlikely that he has Sabrina. So he does have the Cape. Let's see if he has the Sabrina. He could even just play the energy and avoid attacking. That would probably be the correct play, to be honest. I need to find a water energy ASAP. If next turn it's a water energy, the Dragonite can start attacking, which is something we really need. Hopefully he feels pressured to attack here, but he really doesn't. He doesn't need to attack at all. Maybe he's scared of, like, the potential Dragonite late game. I mean, I'm hoping that's how he feels. He can just attack, and if I finish him off with the Giratina, he's always finishing me with his Giratina, so we really need to see a water energy here for the next turn. We need to see water energy. So it isn't, it's electric. I'm just thinking if we have any outs here. If I use Leaf to retreat into Giratina and attack, he's always one-shotting. I'm not seeing any way we can win. He pushes 100 here, 100 next turn. At 200, so even Iridium only gets us, doesn't even get us out of range. So yeah, there's nothing we can do here, it's game over. I'm not going to waste time, I'm just going to concede and go next.